Hi, I'm Lisa Hayden with Channel 6 Central Kentucky TV, community focus on Washington County. It's been a while, Cabrina, since I have done a show. So for our listeners, I want them to know that I had to take a little hiatus because I have been babysitting my new little grandchildren that were born this past year. Yeah.
How fun.
So I've been taking care of them, a little boy and a little girl born to Kate and Blair.
Oh, well, congratulations.
Little shout out to them.
Oh, I bet they're just angels.
They are. So, but anyway, Cabrina, I was reading your newsletter recently from the Extension office. And so you, Cabrina, what is your, Cabrina Buckman, your title at the...
It is the Family and Consumer Sciences Agent.
Okay. It's a mouthful.
It is a mouthful.
So, but Cabrina, I know with that position, you wear a lot of hats.
Yes.
And, but really, I love reading your articles. They're very informative in the Springfield Sun.
Thank you.
And you always have so many great things going on. And one of those I noticed was this diabetes program you have coming up. And, you know, diabetes seems to be rampant.
It is very common and prevalent.
Yes, and getting more so all the time.
Yes. And it's predicted to keep growing.
Yeah.
So that was part of the reason why this program came along.
Yeah, so tell me about diabetes and why this program exactly.
So this program, first of all, I brought a few programs, different ones to talk about, since you're right, we wear so many different hats at the Extension office, but this first one is called the Diabetes Prevention Program. It's actually designed by the CDC, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, because they see the need for type 2 diabetes especially is largely preventable with lifestyle. So they see the need for education, and specifically with this program, we work with groups of individuals. Like, we started yesterday afternoon with the first class, and right now I have a group of 12 people.
Oh,
so
okay.
they will stick with me throughout the entire upcoming year. And we have classes more frequently in the first 6 months, and then in the next 6 months we're just focusing on maintenance of lifestyle changes.
I see. So I didn't realize the program had already started.
Well,
so
people can still
join.
They can still join, and I'll catch them up if they want to.
Okay. So how many people can you have in the class? I mean, as many as sign up?
Yeah, pretty much. They do recommend to keep it, you know, around 20 or below, so that you have a more kind of intimate group setting. It's good for discussion. So our classes are just 1 hour. So far they're on Mondays from 2 to 3, and I have a schedule of what particular Mondays it is. But we talk about, well, we will be talking about.
So are they people that have diabetes or are borderline or both, or what?
So this program is for people who are at risk for type 2 diabetes, or people who have been diagnosed with pre-diabetes.
Okay.
So they've probably gone to their doctor and gotten maybe a general blood test run on everything, and maybe their fasting blood sugar has been anywhere from 100 to 125 is the pre-diabetes range. And their doctor may have even done an A1C that measures your blood sugar from the past 90 days. So those, you would see numbers like 5.7 to 6.4 being pre-diabetes. So that's kind of what doctors or healthcare providers would use to diagnose someone with pre-diabetes. And then there are a lot of risk factors for type 2 diabetes that are somewhat out of our control, like a blood relative, especially a sibling or a parent having diabetes, just our age. But the ones that are in our control are what we eat and how active we are. So that's kind of the focus of the program.
So even though they might have a relative who has type 2 diabetes, which I guess makes them more prone to being
To developing it sometime in their life, yes.
They can work on lifestyle changes that could prevent that.
Right.
But you know, I've known type 2 diabetics that are slim.
They may have been type 1. There's a little bit of difference between type 1 and type 2 just in how your body is regulating insulin. And that insulin is what helps our blood sugar to get into the cells. That's how it works normally. We eat something, it breaks down into blood sugar called glucose, and insulin is released. It gets that glucose into our cells, and then we have energy and we can go about our day as we normally would. Well, if you have any type of diabetes, that insulin is somehow prohibited or doesn't work the way it should. So our blood sugar just ends up in our bloodstream instead of getting into our cells. That's why our blood sugar is high.
And, but there are things you can do to prevent that. So, of course, diet, I'm sure.
Yes.
Is that what you focus on in these in your classes?
We'll be talking about foods, and especially you talk about carbohydrates because that's the source of sugar and glucose when it breaks down. So we'll be talking about foods, and not to say that carbs are bad or carbs are good. It's just to keep a steady balance because we don't want our blood sugar to kind of be on a roller coaster.
Right.
That either makes us feel really high or really low and be kind of sick and shaky and all those really unpleasant symptoms that come with that. So we'll be talking about...
So balancing in your diet is important.
It is, yes, for everybody, but especially for anybody with either diabetes or prediabetes.
And so like when someone someone joins your program, do you do a test on them to see what do you prick their finger and see what their blood sugar is?
I don't, but they usually come with, so people may have been done by their doctor or by their healthcare provider, and they might come and bring me their blood test results and say, okay, here's the proof. They don't even have to bring that to me if they just know that, and they can kind of self-report. Also, people who are at risk have been those with gestational diabetes. That's diabetes when you're pregnant. So that puts you at higher risk for developing type 2 diabetes down the road. And then there is another, just a risk test that I posted online and that we have at the office and that I also mailed out. So it's accessible in a lot of places. So that goes through just general risks that people have for developing type 2 diabetes.
So what are those?
So age is one factor, and that's, again, one factor we can't control, right?
So the older you get, in other words, Cabrina, then
yes, the more, increase your risk.
I mean, daggone this aging.
No.
There's nothing that is good about it. I mean, you're more at risk of this and that and everything. You're like, oh,
so you're still
man.
kicking and you get to see those grandbabies.
Well, that's right.
We always say aging is a privilege, not a afford at all.
I believe it. And then, so age is certainly a factor.
Yes, and even your gender. So whether you're a man or a woman, a man gets 1 point, women get 0 points. So finally we get it.
So are we getting a break?
We're getting
a
break.
Sabrina?
Thank goodness.
Oh my goodness, I can't hardly believe it. So a man is more at risk to get type 2 than a woman.
And then if you're a woman, if
I
you've
know.
ever been diagnosed with gestational diabetes, like I said, that's diabetes while you were pregnant. And then if you have a mother, father, sister, or brother who have had diabetes, you're more at risk. If you have had high blood pressure, you're more at risk. And then if you are not physically active currently, if you have more of a sedentary lifestyle with maybe kind of a desk job and then you go home and sit down, you don't get a lot of activity throughout the day. And an activity doesn't have to mean running a marathon. It can be just your general day-to-day things.
Yeah.
Like gardening, you maybe take a walk for 10 minutes, just kind of being actively steady throughout the day.
Yeah.
And then your weight is also a factor, and that kind of breaks down further. So
it seems to me that is why we are seeing more type 2 diabetes, because of the obesity rate increase, in our state and country, and my understanding is a lot of that is related to, not that I'm knocking fast food every now and then, but people lead such busy lifestyles that they are stopping, at the fast food place and drive through and picking up something not healthy for you for dinner, because you're on the way here, you're on the way there, you're taking kids to this or grandkids to that.
And it's just convenient, and you're trying to live everyday life.
Exactly.
Right.
And
I think
people
that's
don't seem to be cooking as much at home, and if they are cooking, they are cooking, items that are easy to fix that aren't necessarily the most healthy either. And is that?
I think that's definitely a factor. I think also with the activity, since technology has come along, we are more often sitting down in front of computers, and so we're just naturally less active throughout the day unless we kind of intentionally become active.
Ah, that's true too, yeah. So it's not only people's diets, but it's their activity level has slowed down.
Right. So those are the main two factors that the program kind of focuses all around as far as lifestyle change, because those are the things that are in our control. We can't control if our father had diabetes. We can't control how old we are, or so
we don't get any choice on that one.
No.
But so that's what you're focusing on, and then so they are going to learn better eating habits. And how are you doing that?
Well, we have different classes, so we'll be talking about eating well, getting active. We'll track some of those things because it's more, you're more likely to do it if you have to write it down and turn it in. And B, as far as eating goes, if you actually see it on paper, a lot of the things you might snack without realizing what you're eating. And if you have to write down everything, you think, oh, this is eye-opening.
Yeah. That's true. I mean, I have done that, and you don't realize sometimes what you're picking up through the day.
Right. And it kind of makes you think twice.
Yeah.
But we'll be talking about shopping and cooking, and of course, other factors weigh into these topics, like managing stress. That's a big one, especially in our daily lives. Because like you said, we have so much going on, it's easy to get overwhelmed and stressed, and that all plays a factor.
Stress plays a factor in everything,
yes, it does.
I mean, really, it does. And people do need to learn better ways of managing their stress. I better come down there, Cabrina, and check.
You want to come?
Yeah. And so they're going to learn better ways of managing stress and shopping and
We'll be talking about coping with triggers, and triggers meaning like if you go to a baseball game, maybe your automatic association is saying, I want a hot dog and a soda.
Well, of course.
Yeah. So,
that's what happens when you go to a ball game.
Right. So we'll be talking about triggers like that our brain automatically thinks, oh, I want this, and how to kind of cope with those. And we're not saying, take away all the things you love, but we're just tweaking things and managing them, making small changes.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like a really good program. So it's going to meet once a week?
So more frequently in the beginning, like 3 or 4 times a month. Of course, we won't meet on holiday weeks, but and then the next 6 months, kind of from March until next September, we'll meet less frequently, and it's just about maintaining at that point.
Okay. Are they going to be getting weighed as well?
They do get weighed, yes. Yeah, and I'm the only one who sees that, so we don't release that anywhere.
Yeah, but the goal is to help people lose weight.
Yes.
Because that is going to reduce their potential for getting the type 2.
The CDC actually put the goal of this program for by the end of the first 6 months for people to have lost 5 to 7% of their initial body weight. So for most people, that's around 10 pounds or so. And they have that number in mind because when they've done research, they found that number cuts the risk of developing type 2 diabetes in half.
Wow.
Yes.
Well, that's really good.
So that's significant.
Yeah. So, and then now, Cabrina, so, okay, and if someone wants to register for this program, which you're having at the extension office then, so they can just call you there.
Yeah, just call me and we'll talk about it.
And then also, because that makes me think when you're talking about weighing, that you'll be starting the weigh down.
We usually do that from January to March. Yeah.
Okay. And that's still called weigh down or not?
I think we've been calling it the biggest winner lately.
The biggest winner.
It's the same
That's
either
right.
way.
Yeah, the biggest winner.
Yeah.
So that starts in January and will go to
Yep.
March. So you'll be, well, that'll be right in the midst of this.
Yeah, so they could
They might
participate
wanna-
in both
in
if
both.
they want, some extra motivation.
Yeah.
So, but this one is...
Then they could win some money.
That's right. This one is free for everybody. So
That's
it's
great.
a fixed group that sticks together the whole time because that group motivation is an important piece.
Right, right. And so, but then they could start the biggest loser, you said? Or
Biggest winner. Mhm.
Biggest winner, starting in January. Are you going
Yes.
to talk about that any?
Not today. I haven't started
Okay.
planning for that one yet.
Okay,
but
okay.
We usually start...
But we know that'll be coming
Yes.
up.
Yeah,
'Cause
but
that's
it's
a great
traditional.
program, yeah.
We usually start sign-ups about the second Thursday of January or so.
Okay. After Christmas, of
Yeah.
course, when everybody's gained 10 pounds.
People
from
say they
Thanksgiving
want to get started in their New Year resolutions
Right.
and they want some motivation. So,
Right, right. And so now you've got some other things going on.
Yes. So that one is kind of for a fixed group. This next one is kind of similar, but it's more open and we're offering it in multiple ways. So this next is a series called Health Intervention for Prevention. Basically a series of classes about healthy lifestyle to prevent all types of chronic diseases. So I'm partnering with the health department on this one.
Oh, okay.
And my partner is Michelle Coble. She's the chronic disease specialist. She's a certified diabetes educator. So she is very knowledgeable. We're lucky to partner with her.
Oh, that's great. Is she
Yes.
here in Washington County or in the
She covers
main
Washington
office?
County. She
Each
covers
end.
multiple counties, yeah.
Okay.
So,
And so now tell me how that's going to be.
so this one, people can come to, this is more open. So anybody, this is all free, and they can come and go as they are available.
Okay.
So
So they might not be able to make them all. They don't have to be, they're not required to try
Right.
to,
right, they
make
can
them
just
all.
come when they want.
yeah.
So they can either come to our office to watch these classes, or we also record them and put them on our Facebook page. And they can
Oh.
be watched on our Facebook page.
Oh, okay. And then what are some of those going to be then?
So far, the last class we did that's right now on our Facebook page is Kitchen Basics and Pantry Staples. So that's a good one for people who either need a refresh, people who might be beginning in the kitchen, kind of beginning cooks. Like, I even thought about people who are moving away to college for the first time and don't really have mom to cook for them anymore. Maybe
Yeah.
they need some information that
Yeah.
they can watch on Facebook. You know, they're all really technology savvy. So
Yeah.
this would be a class that they could do.
Yeah. And those are things that will help them as far as, because you know what they say about the freshman 10 or something.
Yeah.
I don't know exactly what they call it, but
Yeah.
most often it seems that these freshmen, you know, when they go away to school, gain 10 pounds.
Right. Because either they
Because
don't
of the-
have a kitchen to cook in or they just don't know what to do. So it's fast food a lot.
Right, right. So, so then these are things that you can put that will help you stay maybe more healthy.
Yeah, or just gain some knowledge about, feel more comfortable trying different things in the kitchen if you know a little bit about what you're doing.
Okay, okay.
So
I think everybody could use that, including myself.
it's on Facebook. Welcome to watch.
Okay, great.
So our next class is this Thursday, and that is mindfulness and sleep. So Michelle will be talking about mindfulness, and then I'll be talking about sleep. Because I know a lot of people, including myself, who have had trouble sleeping or might still have trouble sleeping, and it impacts our health so much. And I think it's being researched more and more into just how important it is. But a lot of people have trouble sleeping.
Yeah. or they just don't get as many hours of sleep that they should be getting because their schedules are so busy.
Right.
And we as parents and mothers and fathers as well, you know, you're working, trying to balance your home life with your work life and all the other things that go on, that you don't get enough sleep.
Right. And you wake up at 3 or 4 a.m. thinking, oh, my to-do list. I need to take care of this and this and this.
Yeah.
And it's very common. It happens to a lot of people that I talk to, including me. Sometimes if I have a lot of things going on, I'll do the same thing.
Yeah. So this helps you learn ways to...
So we'll be talking about how important sleep is, and I'll be giving some just tips and tricks on how to get the sleep that you need.
Okay, that sounds great.
Other classes we have are grocery shopping, holiday budgeting, myths and mysteries around health fads, managing holiday stress, holiday parties and maintaining health, staying positive and taking time for you. We're doing that in December because I know a lot of people get stressed out because they're just overloaded with holiday events. Keeping your mind and body active. In January, we'll start up with goal setting, with problem solving, and actually on January 30th, we're talking about Addiction 101. I have a specialist from UK coming to teach that one, so that will be really interesting. He's a very great speaker.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's another thing that's super prevalent right now with substance use addiction. So it's great to just get an understanding, you know, of a reason why. So anybody's welcome to come to that one or to watch it.
Good. That sounds good.
We'll be talking about salads, eating out, movement, mindful eating. In June next year, we'll be talking about beating the heat and then kind of celebrating success and wrapping it up.
Well, gosh, you've got a lot of good programs coming up there. Yeah. So, and those will be, you're doing those in the office, and then if you can't make the office, you can watch them on Facebook.
Yes, that's right.
Which is on, what's the Facebook page?
If they just kind of type in the search bar, Washington County Extension, we should come up.
Okay.
And if not, just give us a call and we'll guide you in the right direction.
And what's that number, Cabrina?
It is 859-336-7741.
Yeah. And so your beautiful new office, which is out in the industrial park, which is...
it's kind of right across from ECTC.
Yeah. So go out 555 and take a right there on the... Well, and there's a big sign that says...
Yes, there's a nice new sign there.
Yeah. The extension office and then the industrial park. Yeah. So, and I think people need to familiarize themselves with that, with your office that maybe haven't had that opportunity.
Yes, we have all kinds of things going on all the time. There are horticulture classes. If you have kids, there are a lot of 4-H programs.
Yeah.
There are just general programs like I do that are available for everybody.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I love your newsletter, and I get that, and I don't know, maybe, you know, I don't know how many people get that, but, you know, they might want to just call out and request a newsletter.
Yes, they're free for anybody. We'll just add you to our mailing list.
Yeah.
And that's not only our programs in that newsletter, but we'll list the library programs, and I send it out to a lot of community partners, and they send me things back that they would like to include and advertise.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a community newsletter.
Right.
That's monthly.
And then do you also advertise that on a web page or on your Facebook page, or how?
When I remember, I post it on Facebook, but I don't always remember.
Yeah, yeah. So the best way really would probably to get the newsletter.
Yes, yes. And this flyer is on Facebook. It's in the comments of that video that we have posted right now.
Oh, okay.
But it's also at the extension office, or they can just call and I can email it to them. We can get it to them however it's convenient.
Okay, okay. So, yeah, so, well, thank you. Is there anything else that we haven't mentioned, Cabrina? You got some other things?
Yes, I do. So that program,
okay.
We'll put that up. So we were talking about, well, we'll skip to this one first. We were talking about familiarizing ourselves with the community, and we currently have Teen Leadership Washington County going on as well. So the 4-H agent and I are partnering with Allison Carney from the schools, and we are coordinating our next group of teen leaders. We have 23 right now. We've done our retreat, and our last day was the City and County Government Day.
Okay.
So we learned all about the city in the morning and then in county in the afternoon.
Yeah. Well, that's a wonderful program. You just can't beat that teen leadership. And how many students do you have in there this year?
23.
And those are all seniors.
They are juniors this year.
Juniors going to look at these, seniors next year. So, and they sign up for that at school.
Yes, yes. Allison does kind of that part. She kind of goes to the high school and recruits for us and gets, they have to fill out an application, and then we look at those and determine who will be in it.
Yeah, because it's restricted to so many students.
We generally have about 25 or so.
Okay. Okay, so great.
So they have different days that they go around, and we take them around and they learn about the community. So our next day in October is Health and Emergency Services Day. We partner with Mark Hale and Joe Carpenter for that one. So we'll be going to Springview Hospital, and they'll be learning all about different careers and different services the hospital offers. And then they have a mock car crash scene at Lewis Auto Salvage. And the EMS comes and helps to show them what they do in car crashes. They help to kind of save someone from a wrecked car. So the teens love that.
Yeah. Ugh, scary when I think about it. And maybe that will be a good
good deterrent.
Yes. for the
Definitely.
the teenagers.
That's our hope too.
Yes, exactly. That's the goal on that.
Yes, and we do Business and Industry Day. We do a Financial Management Day. We do Media Day, which we'll probably be asking you to help with because we'd love to get some teens on camera.
Yeah, we talked about that. I talked with Allison about that, and I haven't had the opportunity to talk with Gary yet.
Yes,
so.
it's not until February, so
Yeah.
we still
I know
have
we
some
have plenty of time. Yeah.
Please, Gary, since you'll be watching
He will, because he loves to help children and students. So yeah, that's one of the things I think enjoys most.
Yes.
So that's great.
We have a Law and Justice Day, we have an Agriculture Day, and then we'll have a State Government Day. We'll take them to the Capitol, and we'll kind of finish up with graduation.
Yeah, it's a wonderful program. So glad you all do that. Yeah.
It is.
So, and is there anything else? Okay.
I have one more. Also, for high school freshman students, we have a program annually called Truth and Consequences, and it is addressing the consequences of being involved with substances or just other high-risk behavior like maybe even dating violence or alcohol or driving impaired, anything kind of around those subjects. So the freshman class go to the Judicial Center for this. Then they go through 4 different rotations. So they'll hear from Vicki Lawson as one speaker, who has her brother was, I believe he OD'd, so she'll have kind of her personal story. And then they'll hear from inmates from the detention center in Marion County. And hopefully they'll hear from Isaiah House. They've always partnered with us before, we just need to confirm them. But they hear their personal stories as well. And then the 4th rotation is something, why I wanted to bring it up on camera is that we need volunteers for it. So the 4th rotation is that they go through scenarios. They have little situation cards. I have an example here. So this situation might be, I know that cigarettes are bad for my health, but I think that vaping is safe, talking about e-cigarettes. The teacher catches me smoking my Juul, which is an e-cigarette, while walking to the bus after school. So they might have that situation, and then they go to 3 professionals to talk about what would happen. So for this one would be the principal, 2 would be the health department, and 3 would be a pharmacist. So they might talk to a judge or law enforcement, people in the school system, people in the court system. That's kind of all the people that they might talk to, even the hospital. So the volunteers come in where we are kind of substitute parents for walking them through those scenarios and just being there to make sure that they don't have to walk alone through those. If they need to talk or debrief or just kind of keep them company, then that's why we were there. So if anybody would like to volunteer and kind of be that substitute parent, that will be on October 17th at the Judicial Center from about 8 a.m. until about 11:30. And then we have a lunch for the volunteers that FCCLA makes for us. So
Well, you can't beat that.
can't beat
That'd
that.
be delicious.
Yes,
Yeah.
it always is.
So in other words, if they want to volunteer for 3 hours to a very important program, then they get a free lunch.
Then they get a free lunch.
Well, can't beat that.
Yes.
Yeah. So, and if they're interested in volunteering, then they just call you,
Yes.
Sabrina?
Yep. They can just call me at 336-7741. And if you want me to explain anything, I'm happy to do that. Or if you just want to kind of walk through anything, happy to do that as well.
So they would be, be about 3 hours of their time walking these students through this.
Yes.
Yeah. Sounds like a pretty cool situation that a lot of people would enjoy doing. Yeah, maybe I'll have to check my calendar and make sure I'm not babysitting that day.
Yeah.
But if I'm not, maybe I can volunteer. I'd
We'd
like
love to have you.
Oh, and if you volunteer, do you have to get, background checks or anything?
Well, we have school personnel that are all around that floor, and it's an open area. So
Okay.
you're never alone with a student.
Okay. So then that's okay. You wouldn't have to go through all of those things prior to being able to volunteer that day. Okay, great. Well, Cabrina, I want to thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you for having me.
A lot of good things going on, and so glad that you're there to get all that stuff together. When we said you wear many hats, you do.
Yes, indeed.
So, yeah. So thank you very much, and I look forward to seeing more of you.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Thanks, Cabrina.
Thank you.